For the group date, which when they announced those guys, we knew that it meant that Nate got the one-on-one date and not Chris. But the group date was at US Bank Stadium. The guys were super excited. Clayton seemed very excited because I think he thought he was going in there and he was going to get to show off some football skills. But in reality,
get signed to a contract.
Yeah,
maybe?
yeah. He was
Put
like,
it on the table.
Right. He's like, maybe there'll be some guys from the front office and they'll get a look at me.
No, but when the actual Vikings came out, he lit up. It was like at career day in elementary school. Clayton was like, okay, professional football player number 1, and number 2, Viking.
Right.
And, like, I want to be
right.
a Viking, but there's no money in being a Viking, so I guess I'll go on the Bachelorette. And then it turns out being on the Bachelorette allowed him to be a Viking. So this was just like a best case scenario.
He is.
And that's why he loved it.
He is objectively a Viking, though. When I see him, I'm like, he's a Viking.
Well, yeah, and I don't criticize Clayton. It's not his fault that they had casting issues with The Bachelor, and they're like, I guess we'll pick Clayton. Yeah. But he is being outshined by everyone else on this season, and this is, I think, the first time, other than I think season 1.
Yeah.
Of The Bachelor, where they knew or I guess that doesn't really apply, but like they knew Clayton was going to be their Bachelor, so this is the best they got.
Right.
Most of the time you get a good edit when they think you might be the Bachelor, but there's other options, but like Clayton's their guy, and the only time they focus on Clayton is when he gets to beat someone up. It's like every time they do like a gladiator event, they like pan to Clayton and he's just grinning, being like, oh, this is going to be so much fun. Like I get to, and it's just like, that's fine if you're an athlete or whatever, but I want to see the Joe side of Clayton, especially for someone we're going to watch a whole season of. Why as a fan of the show, should we want to watch Clayton like find love? Like, what's his story? Like, why should we feel connected to him? And so far, I just can't believe this is the best they got, and I think he goes home soon.
Yeah, the timing of it is very interesting because we had always thought, or at least my thinking of it was, he was going to get an early one-on-one. He was going to tell his story. People were going to really like him.
Yep.
And he was going to be sent home and then given time in between. But now it's like we're getting a little bit deeper into this. He's still here. He hasn't had a one-on-one, so we haven't even really seen him get deep at all. But it's also like the way that ABC kind of made the... not even necessarily making the announcement, but kind of saying like the producers really like resonated with his story and like want to give him a second chance at love. And it's like, what's the story? We haven't heard it yet.
Yeah, I remember the first couple of weeks we had the conversation of like, oh, he must go far and we'll learn like some heartbreaking thing later on.
Yeah.
We're pretty late now. I mean, I guess it could still happen. He's still around and some sort of story could still come out, I suppose. But I definitely thought the ball would be rolling by now, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, and then when he was talking to Michelle on the group date, it was like the first time we've seen Clayton and Michelle.
Yeah.
And it was a nice conversation. The kid has a nice smile. He clearly seems like a nice guy. I've heard he's good at remembering people's names. But like, it was like a pretty benign conversation, which something like, I know you've been in this role before. How am I doing? Like, I'm just trying to like do my best. And then their next conversation was with Brendan, and like just immediately you like, Brendan's a star. Like the guy's charismatic. He has chemistry with Michelle, so that helps. But like, he's just being outshined by all of his peers, which is such a weird thing to have happen, knowing he's your next Bachelor.
Yeah, definitely. His moment to shine was the fact that after all the Viking events, you could say, they put them through of throwing wood and eating
biting
gross
the heads off of fish,
and cow brains and tongues or whatever you want to call it, and then arm wrestling. Like, that was Clayton's big moment. Like, you're the ultimate Viking.